Hello fellow sorcerers, welcome back to another Theory Hammer video, another Thousand Suns video. For this one, it's going to be fun. We're going to talk about the Rubric Marines, and then we're going to attach a bunch of characters to them to give them rerolls to wound, and then gush over how much damage they can do to things. So if you like that, then do the obvious things and click the buttons. Subscribe, there's other videos, do the commenting in the down there. The other channel is linked. Did I hit all the things? Probably, I don't know. And before we dive head first into the warp, let's just first review the army rule. Our army rule is the Cabal of Sorcerers. Ooh. So you pick Psychers and they get to cast the different powers here. You can roll 2d6 or an extra d6, and then any triples or doubles cause d3 mortal wounds to your Psycher's unit. And then if he doesn't die, you can cast the power as long as you roll like over its warp charge value there. And then you cannot cast it again, but if you fail it, you can try to cast it, from a different guy. And the first one is Destiny's Ruin, goes off on a 5, and you pick an enemy unit within line of sight and within 24 inches, and then anyone who shoots at them, so all your friendly units, you reroll 1s. If your psychic test is a 10 or more, then you get full rerolls. Then you have Temporal Surge, which moves a unit d6 inches, one of your friendly units, 24 inches line of sight, not in combat. Pick that unit, move them d6 inches. If you roll a 10 plus though, it's just a flat 6, and they're not allowed to charge. Then you got Doom Bolt, this goes off on a 7, you pick an enemy unit within 24, you just do d3 mortals to it, unless you roll an 11 plus, in which case you do d3 plus 3. The caveat with lone ops here is that you basically have to be within 12 inches to target lone ops. And then you have Twist of Fates, this goes off on a 9, and this picks an enemy unit within 24 inches and line of sight. Friendly units that shoot them get plus 1 AP, and then if you roll a 12 or higher on your cast for your test, you get plus 2 AP instead. So yeah, keep those in your brain. Okay, so next we have the datasheet itself, the main course, you might say. They now move 6 inches. I'm pretty sure they moved 5 before, but they move 6 inches now. T4. They got a 3-up save, they have 2 wounds, leadership 7, and then OC of 2. There is a change. There is, like, the sergeant guy got an extra wound and stuff, so he moves 6, he's toughness 4 as well, with a 3-up save and a 5-up invulnerable save on all of them, just so you guys know. The aspiring sorcerer guy, he's got 3 wounds though instead of 2. He has a leadership of 6 instead of 7. He's also OC 2. Now you got a bunch of different weapons that you can take, well, not a bunch, but a few different weapons you can take. The Malefic Curse, the one that's there that you can see on screen, that is only for the aspiring sorcerer. Everyone else either has the bolters or you can give them the warp flamers. And so the warp flamer is strength 4 AP 1, damage 1 flamer guy. The inferno bolt gun is just 2 shots all the time. Strength 4 AP 2, 1 damage. The flamer is definitely where it's at though. The aspiring sorcerer is the guy with the 3 attacks in combat with a good weapon as well. Strength 6 AP 1, D3 damage. So like all the little units, they have like little psyker guys in the unit, like almost little characters. They're pretty cool. So they have the Cabal of Sorcerers on the Aspiring Champion only, and then their main datasheet ability is the Bringers of Change. So they get to reroll wounds if you're on an objective, or they just reroll 1s all the time. You then have an Icon of Flame that you can take if you really want. It gives your unit ignores cover, but you're just going to take the Flamers, so it doesn't actually matter. And you can take them in units of 5 to 10, they're 100 points or 200 points. They are battle line as well. So that's kind of what we're working with here. Pretty sweet, right? 100 points for 5. Cool little change there with the sergeant. 3 wounds. Terminator ones also have 4. So, like I was saying, little mini characters there. And they're also the psyker in the unit, and because they're not a character, you can't precision them out. So just cool. Just cool stuff. Really a win from a flavor perspective, in my opinion there. So basically, don't worry about the bolter. Even though you can get ignores cover and stuff, and there's characters we're going to go over that can give you lethal hits and sustained hits, don't worry about that shit. Instead, just take the Warp Flamer. It's AP 1, you can boost it to AP 3, and it has Twin Linked, basically. So do that instead. It's also an amazing Overwatch target. So it's like, oh, did you just move on to that objective because you have to do that in order to win the game? I'm going to effectively shoot you in your turn with Twin Linked. Thanks for playing. So in your shooting phase, normally, you're going to put 12 to 13 wounds on a toughness 4 unit from just the unit alone. And then we have the characters that we're going to attach. And these have always done this since the index. You just run them up with flamers because it's just the better option every time. So this is just pretty bare bones. You just always do that. But then we get into the more spicy stuff, which is all of the characters. They're all just good. All of them. Except for one. And when the characters can get some cool enhancements that combo well, I'll let you know. I'm probably not going to go over any detachments too in depth. So the first one, who is not good for this unit at all, is Ahriman. He's definitely the worst pick because he just gives absolutely nothing to the unit. He does gain Twin Linked himself on his Transmorgifying Blast. Like, it's just not that interesting, you know? So what it is, it's 18 inches with Blast and Psychic. D6 plus 1 shots. He does hit on 2s. It's Strength 6, AP 1, D3 damage. If you take him in the Grand Coven, then he could have Dev Wounds, but I'm just going to move on from here. That's basically it. The Infernal Master is next. He moves 6, he's toughness 4 with a 3-up save, 5-up invuln. He's got 4 wounds, leadership 6, and OC 1. He comes with the Fires of the Abyss, which is a flamer. It doesn't have ignores cover, but it's a flamer. Strength 6 AP 2 with D6 shots at 18, or 2D6 shots. And then of course he gains hazardous if he uses the better version. He gives his unit sustained hits. You can also flip anything like a hit or wound or a saving throw to a 6, not anything. So those 3 things, you can flip them to a 6 as well. And he's got grenades because he's fucking awesome, and the Rubric Marines don't have grenades. So he's just great. He's like 85 points, and he's really good, especially in certain builds. In the Grand Coven, this guy can be a real asshole because of Eldritch. I don't even know if I'm going to say this right. Because of the Eldritch Vortex of Ataf. I had to say that like 3 times. He gets +1 strength and +1 damage on his psychic weapons. His psychic weapons are now twin linked if he's attached to a unit of Rubric Marines. So what are we looking at? Well, it's, you know, just it's fine. It's like 2d6 shots at strength 7, AP 2, 2 damage. No big deal. And then his force stave, because it's also a psychic weapon, becomes 4 attacks at strength 7, AP 1, D3 plus 1 damage. That's kind of cool. All of it's twin linked though. So yeah, I mean, he has a better Flamestorm cannon that's twin linked attached to him. Could you imagine if he could become AP4? That'd be crazy, huh? He would like vape entire units by himself or something, wouldn't he? And so if you're not catching the drift there, Twist of Fate Dog, +2 AP. Insanity. Insanity right there. And then in the Grand Coven, this shit can perpetually be a dev wound weapon. And he just can change a wound to a 6. So yeah, 7 shots on average. One of them's going to be a dev wound. You flip another one to a dev wound. You re-roll the 5 other ones, and you have an 83.3% chance to get another dev wound. And then plus you take AP4 saves from the rest of them that actually wounded. So it's like 6 dev wounds on average from him every time that he shoots, including on an Overwatch? The fuck? Yeah, you take that. So he's 110 points with that upgrade. So that's going to be our Infernal Master. He's hilarious. He's just hilarious. And his ceiling is so high too, because you could roll like 10 shots, just immediately get 2 dev wounds, flip one to a 3rd, roll the other bunch, get like another 2, and he just does like 10 wounds to something. It's insane. Like, it's pretty funny. So the next one here though is going to be the Sorcerer. I mean, he's fine. He's 75 points, and he gives out lethal hits. Move 6, toughness 4, 3-up save, 5-up invuln, you know, 4 wounds, leadership 6, OC 1. All that's kind of the same. He's also got grenades. And then once a game, he can make his gun have a lot of shots at strength 8, AP 1, damage 1, but it always has sustained 3, so that's funny as shit. Especially with the Eldritch Vortex of the thing, of the Epitaph, because it's 9 shots at strength 9, AP 1, 2 damage, with sustained 3, access to full rerolls to hit, and then full rerolls to wound because, you know, he's with that unit of Rubric Marines. Now, usually it's going to be 6 shots at strength 6, AP 1, damage 2 with sustained 3. So on average, he gets like 10 hits with this thing. If he's in the Grand Coven, now they can be dev wounds. And like I said, he's with that unit, so it's twin linked. And just like his buddy, the Infernal Master, he's going to average about, 6 damage from dev wounds, plus any extra damage that he does just from getting wounds on you that you have to take saves from. So this guy also gets an A+. Up next is the Exalted Sorcerer. This guy gives his unit a 4+ invuln, so actually something useful, since, lethals and sustained aren't useful here. What he does is he also returns a model to the unit. He can actually return 2 if you roll 6. And he has Astral Blast, which is great. It's D6 shots at strength 6, AP 2, damage D3, with blast, with dev wounds, now with twin linked. And with the enhancement, it's strength 7, AP 2, D3 plus 1 damage, with dev wounds. This guy could be hitting you with 4 damage dev wound shots at once, yo. Like, it's not likely, but it's also, like, not unlikely. Like, roll 5 shots, you get 6 because the unit is blastable, you get 5 hits because you have rerolls to hit, you get a dev wound out of those first 5 that you roll the other 4, maybe get another one, and then one of them hits for 4, and the other one hits for, like, 3. Can definitely see that happening. You would need to get a little lucky though. It's not going to be your average, like what we saw from the either the Infernal Master or the regular Sorcerer guy. Now, I didn't actually go over this guy's profile. He does move 6, toughness 4 with a 3-up save and a 4-up invulnerable save, not a 5-up. And he has an extra wound. He's got 5 wounds, leadership 6, OC 1. His combat's also a little better. He hits on 2s. He's got 5 attacks on 2s at strength 6, AP 1, damage D3. For only 80 points, he's really good. You can't go wrong. Brings dudes back, gives them a 4-up invuln, has a good weapon, has decent combat. I'm here for that. But then we have the Exalted Sorcerer on disc. And really the only difference with this guy is that he moves 10 inches instead of 6, and his OC is 2, and he has 6 wounds. Everything else is the same. So like toughness, save, invuln, leadership, all that's the same. But he's faster, better OC, more wounds. What this guy does is he gives out Lone Op with an 18 to his unit, which is just fucking annoying. He also slows you down when he hits you with his 18-inch range flamer. So all he has to do is hit you, which he does automatically, and you become -2 to your move and -2 to your charge. And he's hitting you with some beef too. D6 shots at strength 6, AP 2, D3 damage with ignores cover. You can enhance this up to strength 7, AP 2, D3 plus 1 damage with ignores cover. Give it dev wounds from the Grand Coven permanently because of egotistical power, and it's probably shooting with twin linked because it's probably shooting something that's on an objective. And so everything that you get here is just good, very good. And maybe I will dive into one detachment just a little bit, which is going to be the Rubric Phalanx. This has all kinds of goodies. So I'll mainly just focus on the strats. The first one is going to be your Ardent Automata. I almost said Armada there. Fall back and shoot and charge. And I just love it, dude. It's 1 CP. It's really nice to have on a unit that has flamers, that have a character in there that can do stuff. They don't want to be tied up in combat. You know, they want to get out of combat, shoot all their crazy shit somewhere else, and then maybe charge somewhere. You then have Inexorable Advance, gives you Assault, and ignore all movement penalties for 1 CP. Great. I love having Assault with flamers. That's good. You then have Revenge of the Rubric. 1 CP, I just shoot back at you. So I shot you, and then I overwatched you. And then I shot you again with a dude or two, but more importantly, the character. We then have Implacable Guardians, which is -1 damage, only in the shooting phase, but it's -1 damage. Got a whole lot of 2 damage weapons that you're worried about? Don't be worried anymore, because now they're only 1 damage weapons. And I'm going to be willing to bet that your unit lives now, and it's going to get to shoot those flamers again next turn. And then the last one that matters here is Unwavering Phalanx. It gives you -1 to be wounded in combat, so it's okay. It might matter, it might not, it just depends. If you have your 4-up invuln character, I could see this being pretty annoying to deal with, actually. So the Exalted Sorcerer, I believe, was the one that did that. Brings guys back and gives you a 4-up invuln. Now you're -1 to be wounded. You could be -1 to damage in shooting if you had a big unit of 10. That could actually be survivable. Like, you could have a 10-man unit, 4-up invuln, -1 damage, live through somebody's shooting phase, and then he can bring guys back, and then he can actually, benefit. So this attachment is definitely for rubrics. It's like the rubrics go ham detachment. But the Grand Coven, it just seems really good for the amount of damage output that you can do. And not only do you have the Vortex enhancement there, you also have the Umbralific Crystal, so you can just teleport units around. And overall, you have access to really good stuff. And it's good no matter what. The Infernal Master is really, really good because his Flamer is great, especially in the Grand Coven. The regular Sorcerer is a powerhouse with his weapon, especially in the Grand Coven. It can randomly have like 20 attacks with full rerolls and dev wounds with rerolls to wound. And then you got the Exalted Sorcerer. He gives the unit a lot of protection, and he's nice to have with rerolls to wound because of Astral Blast already having dev wounds just built into its profile. So he could really go in kind of no matter what detachment. Gives you that 4-up invuln, bring dudes back, sometimes 2. So I think he probably does belong in a bigger unit, perhaps. But yeah, he's just really good. And then you have the Exalted Sorcerer on a disc. He's just fucking, like, they're all just fucking good, dude. He slows things down. He makes you a lone op with an 18. He's got an awesome flamer where, like, the damage is higher potentially. It does have less shots, but like in the Grand Coven, he also gains a lot from the enhancement. It can potentially be 4 damage with dev wounds. Just flaming you, like, that sounds pretty scary to things like Terminators and shit. And so that's what we're going to be looking at here for rubrics and their attached characters. They're all really viable, and they're all so good. I don't know if I want to talk about which one I think is the best one, because they're all really good. I think the Exalted Sorcerer that are flying, if you take a couple of them, like, it depends of what detachment you're going to run them in, right? Because you're definitely taking an Infernal Master if you're playing in the Grand Coven. You're giving him the enhancement. The Exalted guys on discs, their Flamer's already kind of just like good by itself. Boosting the other guys to 2 damage when he can flip things to 6s and already has full rerolls, like that's just great. But then again, I mean, I don't know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I think you just take small units of rubrics and you just take characters with them. And except for maybe a couple of them that want to be in larger units, like the regular Exalted Sorcerer, it's 280 points for him and a 10-man unit. Like that's not the worst thing I've ever heard. If you can make them -1 to wound, -1 damage, just full rerolls with those dev wounds on his Astral Blasts. Or just take 3 units of 5 and then have 3 sorcerers attached to that. That's 180 points each. Like, the amount of output that they have is really, really nice. And when you have full rerolls with dev wounds in multiple places, ooh, it gets spicy, you know what I'm saying? So Rubric Marines continue to be a really, I guess, versatile unit. Not really versatile. They're a backbone unit, though. They continue to be a backbone unit for this army. And I think no matter which characters you take, you're not going to really have a problem doing a lot of damage with them and kind of feeling like you're trading well with them because they can just do so much for their points cost. They're really good Overwatch targets. You've got a lot of support with a couple of these detachments. And you could even have Magnus up there. You're always going to have Magnus, right? Giving them +2 to their move. Now they can move 8 inches. You could give them stealth by taking a Demon Prince, pop him nearby. He's a lone op as well, so it's just like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna come into these Flamers and get Overwatch and then get smacked by a Demon Prince? Like, what's your plan here? Then you got Magnus to deal with. Like, what's gonna happen here? So yeah, really, really good unit no matter which way you slice it. They're expensive, but they can do a ton of damage. So if you just hide behind cover, then you move out 6 inches. You got an 18-inch threat range there. You're shooting things on objectives almost all the time, and you just roast shit, dude. You just roast shit. So that's gonna do it. That's the end of the video, my friend. Make sure that you doombolt all the buttons, all those treasonous little buttons. Leave some comments. Check out the other videos. Check out the other channel. Thanks for making it to the end, fellow sorcerers. If you did, comment Magnus did nothing wrong. Theory hard, but not as hard as Magnus did. And I'll see you in the next video.